guys, it's the Friday the 13th of February. Just driving home from in town. Had meetings, or not meetings, but appointments this morning that I needed to go to. So just zipped around doing a few things and heading home. What to share today? I've had lots rolling around in the old brain again. There's always lots rolling around in my brain. But it's been an interesting few days. And actually it's quite nice to be able to even say that. The last couple of shares I've done have been more so on the positive than, or more so on the upper or positive. I don't know what the correct terminology is there. But I have felt a lot more balanced within myself. And it's really good to say that. It's usually collapsed by now. I've usually collapsed by now. But having said that, I've had a lot of things to do on the computer. And I've never really been much of a computer person, and I'm far from tech savvy, far from. But I've needed to sort of work my way through various components, whatever you want to call it, with the computer. And so, because I've sat there and I've just been looking and looking and looking at the computer, my brain is in this mode, and I've never experienced this before. I mean, it's like when the kids play the PlayStation too much, they sort of get off and their eyes are boggling, and you know, they're in this certain mindset, and that's how my head feels at the moment, having focused for a certain period of time. And I don't know whether it's good, bad or otherwise, but I think I need to meditate or do something to try and slow my brain down. I don't know, a natural high. I'm not sure if that's the terminology, like I said, but I don't like it. I don't like feeling racy. It's nice to feel happy. It's nice to feel elated. It's nice to feel more so positive than negative. But I'm just not comfortable. And just because I might be feeling racy doesn't mean that I'm happy. There's, a definite difference between the two of them. Happy. What exactly does happy mean? I'm not really sure what happy means. It's a bit like success. Everybody seems to have their own individual interpretation of what success is. Some people deem success as, money and living society-wise, I don't know, not above level, but, a higher category than what some people do. And that's a society thing. That's definitely not a me thing. I think everybody's the same. We're all the same. We just have different experiences in life. Success for me is to feel comfortable within my own skin, to be and to be feeling balanced. Motorbike going by. Oh, silly woman. She's got a goddamn skimpy little top on. She's obviously never come off a motorbike before, the silly girl. And that's my judgment, and I will make that judgment, because you do not get on a motorbike without some sort of leathers, especially on your body. You come off your motorbike and it's just like butter. Your skin is like butter and it's gone. Okay, rant over. I'll go back to what I was talking about. To feel successful to me would be living comfortably in my own skin, to feel balanced, to actually have a good balance around or with self-esteem, self-love, self-worth. All of those inner things, not the outer things, the inner things. And that's a really, really hard, it's not a hard call for me to make. It's not a hard question for me to answer. To attain it, it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to actually work towards it and to attain it. And then if, by the grace of God, if I do attain it, to be able to keep growing in that area, that can be somewhat a challenge within itself. I mean, there's always that word called choice, or that question, choice. And I suppose in a way that reminds me of, you know, the little saying, the little ditto that I chose to say at the start of the year, that there's no such thing as can't be bothered. Because that can't be bothered for me, unless of course it's my depression that has really kicked in, and it's like everything just shuts down. Absolutely everything within me shuts down, and it's like wading in honey with no arms and legs. And when in that vortex that I often talk about, sliding down that vortex, you know, that gravity effect, with no arms and legs, and it's like a corridor. It's got no corners and nothing to grab onto, and it's just whoosh. That vortex, that scares me. That really does, because I don't know where the end is. A bit like space, you don't know. That's why it's called space. You just don't know where it ends. I suppose in a sense too, that analogy can be put towards recovery itself. I mean, everything that I've spoken about, I believe, today is recovery. Every single facet of life, every single experience in life, be it big, be it small, be it hurtful, be it happy, whatever it be, you can put it under the category, I'll use I statements, I can put it under the category of life. And life itself is recovery. I need to choose to do things in life for any kind of recovery. And it becomes a lifestyle. It really does become a lifestyle. Like bodybuilding, powerlifting, it becomes a lifestyle. Believing in the Bible and in Jesus, it becomes a lifestyle. Yoga, any of those belief, I was going to say mechanisms, but that's not the right terminology. Any of those belief systems, those belief in ways, those different ways of life that people choose to live, it's a lifestyle. It's not something that I just choose to do at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then finish at 2:15. It doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't. When I first started going to 12-step fellowships when I was 19, I couldn't quite comprehend the idea that it was a lifestyle, that, in fact, I couldn't even comprehend walking out the bloody door without pulling on the bum. I mean, that's just sad within itself. Smoking a bum, I'll rephrase that term, it doesn't sound very nice. Smoking weed to get out the door to go to work, and drinking at any given time, being a drinker, etc., etc. And I'd often go to work off my face. I'd have to be off my face to get to work, to get out the door to get to work. So when I heard people talking about going to barbecues and going out for dinner and any sort of social event or social cues, anything in that area, it was, I don't know, like a bolt of lightning, just straight to the brain. And person to indulge in it all the time. But my dad chose to drink, so there was always alcohol in the house. And quite often, my brother and I try and sip some before we give it to Dad, but he always knew. He always bloody knew. Gosh, you can tell a beer with a drip of water in it. But being young and silly and thinking that, we can get away with it, didn't work. No, did not work. But coming back to what I was talking about, for some reason, there were times that life would go so slow, it felt like it was killing me. Everything would just be in absolute slow motion, whether I had something in my system or not. And then there'd be times that life itself, I'd be on this, just so energized and this natural high. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've always been a high energy person, even when I was little, and I've spoken about that several times. And so coming into recovery and figuring out within myself, if I've not got anything in my system, I'm left with me. So where do I go from there? I don't know. I sit back and I look at little puppies and cats, and they get the zoomies up, zoom, 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 they go everywhere. They have their little moments where they've just got to go flat out, and they're quite cute, they're quite funny. And I suppose as human beings, when we're a bit young, we can have those moments too, but as adults we can have those moments too. I'm not saying I've got the zoomies up, don't get me wrong. It's all par for the course, honestly. All I keep thinking is that every facet in life is part of the recovery process, and it's something, whether it be today or whether it be in a couple of years' time, it will be something I will eventually have a look at. Obviously there's going to be things in life that may never even come to my attention. I've needed to learn to adopt an approach of keeping myself open, as in mentally, emotionally, spiritually, with guards up by all means, as in safe boundaries. But adopting an approach that I'm always in a learning process, and if I lose that, I'm so going to lose that equilibrium in life. That flow, that pace that I try to set for myself, that I'm feeling comfortable within. If I need to go anywhere, straight away there's something in me that gets really racy. It's like I want to fight the process. I get confused really quickly. That's a time that I need to just stand still, sit back, and just ask myself what's going on. Why am I racing? What the hell is this shit all about? Trying to do better, trying to be better within myself. I don't know. I suppose if I heard anything, if I was to hear anything like this when I was drinking and using, I just think these people were nutters, honestly. Absolute bloody nutters. And that's because I didn't understand the process. And I'm still learning to understand the processes. sure as shit don't want to go back there. I do not want to go back in that direction from where I'm coming from, because it's taken me over 30 years to get to where I am today. And that's inclusive of having, in recovery, nervous breakdowns. I've had 3 nervous breakdowns. When I lost my baby, I had a nervous breakdown. My kids left home in very unfortunate circumstances. Another nervous breakdown. And then after a few years of certain antics, I had my 3rd nervous breakdown. And not my antics, others. And it's a bit of a sordid conversation, that one. It's one that I won't speak about on this format. It's not appropriate. Absolutely not appropriate. And but it's just the way it went. I come off the back of a medical lawsuit, and so many things happening at once. Most people have 1 or 2 things happening at once, and it just so happened that I had several things of a very, very deep nature happening for me and to me at that particular time. And I just got to the point that I couldn't cope anymore. I just could not cope. So where I was meant to be one particular day, I had passed out the night before, and I was still passed out the next day. Not as in from drugs or anything. I literally passed out and fell on the bathroom floor, and that's where I stayed for a certain amount of hours. And I had people ringing me. Somehow my phone had fallen into, there was a bag, a plastic bag, like a garbage bag on the floor in the bathroom, and somehow my phone had fallen into the bag. So I'm looking everywhere else for my phone to make certain phone calls. And people are ringing me. I eventually found my phone, and I had something like 35 phone calls, all from my legal team. And yeah, but that day's over, that day's gone, and I won't be speaking any more of that on here because it's not appropriate. That's all one needs to know. Life definitely is much better. Life definitely is much more challenging, in the sense that inside it's like I've needed to grow to a certain point to even want to stand up and try, to even want to have a go at what people call life, at life being recovery. And I probably sound like I'm repeating myself at the moment, and I probably just have. But things feel different for me, and that is a really big thing for me. And then I come back to that word success, and I'm not saying yay, I'm successful, I'm there, I've got it. No, because as soon as I adopt that attitude, I'm fucked. It's as simple as that. That old saying, you cannot fill a cup that's already full. I want to keep my glass half full. I really do, because I want to keep learning. I want to embrace as much as I can possibly embrace in life, in recovery, so I can keep moving forward. And part of that, yes, is sharing, yes, giving back, yes, hopefully goes over my tyre has cracked and it's rubbing on my tyre, and I keep forgetting to put the car in and get it fixed, or take the bloody thing up until I do get it fixed. Obviously the tape's come undone. Anyway, it's slow as well. Yeah. I am very, very grateful today for the changes that have happened in my life, whether I've liked those changes or not. Some of the changes were very, very hard to grasp at first. And that first thing that needed to change was no more mind-altering substances. That can become a little bit tricky. With my mental health diagnosis, I need to take medication. I need the medication because it helps to regulate the serotonin in my brain. So, you know, I'm not saying I'm a recovering alcoholic addict because of the serotonin in my brain. I am that because of my choices of choosing mind-altering substances. I didn't know any better. I did not know any better. And I just thought that that's where I was going to find life. To be as pissed as I could be, to be as stoned as I could be, and somehow I was going to find life in that. Maybe I should take my glasses off and you can see my eyes, because it's like, fuck, Tony. How on earth could one possibly even think that one's going to find life at the end of a bong, at the end of a beer, at the end of a, you know, liquor, at the end of, you know, taking a shot, not as in needle, a shot as in a drink, because I never did needles, but I definitely smoked a lot, and I definitely snorted a lot, and I definitely drank a lot, and I'm not proud of it, but it was just my experience, I suppose. So no, I didn't like that idea that I had to stop any kind of mind-altering substance for something to happen, for me to start moving forward, for me to start growing, for me to start looking at Tony to see why I felt the need to have this substance in my system. It took quite some time. I don't know if it was months or years. I don't know. I can't put a date or a time frame on it. But it took quite some time for me to accept the fact that I won't be picking up a drink or an illicit drug for the rest of my life. And that is why 12-step fellowships adopt an approach of just for today. And even though I may not go to meetings at the moment, I will go back one day. But for me, everything is just for today. I can only look at the clock just for today. And I'm at my destination, so I'm going to get off. I hope you've had a really good day, and